I'm Andrew, and I worked on back-end implementation.
I'm Shakhram. I worked on the front end.
I'm Gamal, Abdu, and I worked on the front end too.
I'm Rashad Long, and I helped on the front end also.
Okay. So the concept of this website is that the user enters their city, their location, and the website gives them a weather report of that location in the form of a Star Wars planet, like Hoth, Tatooine, Bespin. So how it works, it starts when we load the app component. The app will define the routes and it will load the home page by default. The home page is where the user will enter their city, which it will then pass to the planet component as a prop. The planet component takes the city data and makes a request to an API we found called Open Weather, which is a free API that returns an updated weather report from a given city. It will take that data and it will use it to determine which planet to display, which we have a database for, which we will show later. And depending on the result of the request, we will either render the planet page or the error page. So moving on. This is the algorithm we use to determine what planet to display. So the first question we ask it is, what is the temperature? If it's really, really hot, we go to Mustafar. If it's really, really cold, we go to Hoth. Here we have planets that are hot, but not like crazy hot. Well, I mean, 99 is pretty hot, but we have different questions that we ask for hot planets and temperate planets. So if it's hot but not cloudy, we go to Tatooine. If it's hot, cloudy, but not raining, we go to Yavin, and so on and so forth. And you can see the logic that we have here. So next, would Shakhram and Gamal like to talk about the homepage and planet pages?
Yeah, is there another slide after? Yeah, so for the front page, we wanted to kind of have something that's very stunning, something that's very minimal but captivating. So we worked a lot on trying to that Star Wars is a logo, but then we had to find the font that matched the logo for the weather app portion of that. And luckily I was able to find it, and we were able to kind of meld the two. And that was a lot of fun because it was a lot of work. Me and Shakhram spent hours on using CSS. I'm sure a lot of you spent a lot of hours on CSS as well, on trying to make this very centered, make all the proportions work well, and also not make the input box and the button kind of look, just like it was just dragged in there. So this is not the full front page. You'll see the front page when we show it to you. But Shakhram, do you have anything else to add?
Sure, if we go to the next slide. So this is an example of a planet page that may show up if you enter something very cold, maybe like Moscow. And one of the issues with this page is that we have to center one of the texts in the middle, and then you see there's some text at the top left and then the bottom right. And when we were scaling the page, we were testing it to see if it would stay in its position, but it would not. Maybe the words would cut off or the text would jump all over the page. So we decided to use percentages in our CSS for the font, and as well as percentages for where they're located on the page with top, bottom, left, and right CSS styling. As well as for the background, we had to use special CSS for that because these images were pretty long. So we figured out that we had to set a maximum width and a minimum height so that it stretches, but also it covers the whole page.
And that's a good tip for everybody out there that we learned is using percentages for everything allows you to scale things a lot easier when we make the web page smaller or make it bigger. And it took a lot of trial and error to figure that out, but it's a good thing to know now moving forward.
And next we have the error page, which was put together by Rashad.
Yeah, so I wanted the error page to not just be a regular error page like you got the wrong city, so the fonts were special Star Wars fonts that I found that I actually used for another project that I was doing because I'm a Star Wars fan and everything I do has to do with Star Wars. I really want you guys to see the back to home button because I added a little special effects to that for the CSS. The CSS was, again, like I think that's probably the most difficult part is the CSS and working with the images and the graphics and the fonts. So if you put in the wrong city or if you put in a city that's not in the database, you're going to get an error. This is the page that you'll get sent to, and at least you get something nice to look at.
All right, so to talk about the back end a little bit, we have a database of 9 planets that have the name, description, image URL, and then we have weather data. So for like a hot planet like Tatooine, the API gives you back temperature in Kelvin, which I had to go back to high school chemistry to figure out how to convert to Fahrenheit. So 297 to 320. We have, it's a desert planet, so humidity is at minimum pretty low. The API also gives you back data for clouds. And and we have a total of 9 planets in the database, which can be displayed under different conditions. And here we have a video of it working. So this was recorded by Shakhram. You see he's entering Moscow. Pretty cold in Moscow, yeah. San Diego, probably where a lot of us would like to be.
The Star Wars music was actually added. We took it out last minute, but it is still there. So,
Shakhram, which city is that?
I think that was San Diego.
Okay.
That was London.
And now we're
Oh, was that
in
London?
Sydney. In Sydney, where it's currently summer, it's like Tatooine up there.
And you can
Moving
see
on.
at the top right
Here's the
updates the temperature that's accurate to the city as well as the conditions that the API states in this description.
do we have an error code?
Yes.
well, no. So you can see we're converting the degrees to 52 that we get from the API, and it returns a short description. So we have a few clouds in the sky. So it's still like Naboo out there. And here we have the demonstration of the error page.
And we chose that particular image because I think that's the destruction of a planet. So if there's no planet, there's no weather, and we'll be able to tell what the weather is.
Oh, and here's another one. I don't remember which city this was for, but more screenshots. And
this
that's
last video is something that we wish to implement and iron
this
out.
is something we're currently trying to implement. Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're adding the list of the cities, you're adding a list of cities, and you can click on them to remove it or even navigate to it. So it's like your list of favorite cities, something that you see on your phone that's always there. Currently, it is connected to local storage. That part is up and running. Now the only thing to iron out is actually navigating to each city on the list perfectly.
And that's it for us.
Make sure to check out the My Career tab on the BC Navigator app, where you can track your career progress based on the amount of credits you've earned, stay updated on upcoming events from the Magner Center, and watch our videos for insight and advice on your career field.